When you lock your front door and leave for the day, do you actually know what your cat does the second you are gone? Most owners assume it is simple. The house gets quiet, and your cat just finds a comfortable spot to sleep for the next 8 hours. End of story. But behind that closed door, your cat is dealing with a massive emotional shift. Leaving them alone is one of the most psychologically loaded events of their day. And if you do not understand what is actually happening in their head, you could be completely ignoring the silent signs of stress they go through every single morning. Let's look at what the pet cameras are not telling you, starting with the minutes before you even step outside. 1. They know you are leaving before you do. Have you ever noticed your cat sitting very still and watching your every move while you get ready for work? That is not just them being curious, it is their daily radar turning on. Cats are creatures of absolute routine. To them, a predictable environment is a safe environment. Over the months and years you have lived together, your cat has memorized every single micro routine you have. They know the exact sound of your work shoes hitting the floor compared to your casual shoes. They recognize the specific jingle of your car keys. They even notice the subtle change in your breathing and walking speed when you are in a rush to leave. Before your hand even touches the doorknob, their brain has already figured out that their favorite human is about to vanish. For many indoor cats, this realization triggers an invisible spike in cortisol, which is the body's main stress hormone. They do not bark or scratch at the door like dogs do. Instead, they internalize it. My years of exploring feline habits have shown me that a cat's silence is often mistaken for them not caring. But in reality, their heart rate is rising, and they are mentally preparing themselves for the sudden loss of their companion. 2. The 20-minute reaction window. So, what actually happens the exact second the front door clicks shut? If you have ever checked a pet camera right after leaving, you might have seen your cat pacing around the living room or suddenly meowing loudly at the walls. Most people laugh this off and think the cat is just bored or complaining. But the clinical data tells a much deeper story. Behavioral studies show that if a cat is going to experience true separation anxiety, the most intense reaction happens almost entirely within the first 10 to 20 minutes of isolation. That loud, drawn-out meow in the empty hallway is not a random noise. They are actively using the acoustic feedback of the empty house. When they meow into a quiet room, the sound echoes and bounces off the walls. They are doing this on purpose to mimic the exact same calls they used as tiny newborn kittens trying to locate their mother. They are sending out a location ping, hoping you will hear the echo and answer them back. When the house stays completely quiet and no answer comes, the reality sets in that they are truly alone. They realize you are gone, and they are now the sole protector of the territory. But the hardest part for them does not end when they finally stop meowing. Because the real challenge begins when the physical environment inside your home starts to shift without you there. 3. The scent vacuum takes over your home. As the hours pass after you leave, something invisible but highly stressful happens inside your house. The smell of you starts to fade from the air. To a human, this means nothing, but to a cat, it is everything. Cats see the world through their nose. Their sense of smell is their primary way of understanding who is safe and who belongs. When your scent starts dropping, they experience what experts call a scent vacuum. Have you ever come home to find your cat sleeping exactly in the middle of your unmade bed, or curled up inside a basket of your dirty laundry? Most owners think the cat just found a soft spot, or is being a bit lazy, but the truth is much more beautiful. They are actively hunting for the places where your smell is the strongest. By pressing their bodies against your worn clothes or your pillows, they are physically surrounding themselves with a shield of your smell. They are mixing their own scent with yours to create a safe, shared colony scent while you are not there to provide it. It is their way of holding on to you when the house feels too empty. And if this is starting to change how you see your cat, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It really helps us save more pets' lives through our videos and build a community of owners who truly understand their animals. 4. The myth of the lazy afternoon. If you look at the camera around noon, your cat is probably fast asleep. Because of this, owners often feel guilty, thinking their cat is deeply depressed or completely bored out of their mind without them. But you do not need to feel bad about this at all. This deep sleep is completely hardwired into their biology. Cats are what scientists call crepuscular. That is just a simple way of saying their bodies are built to be mostly awake at dawn when the sun comes up and dusk when the sun goes down. In the wild, this is when their ancestors hunted for food. So, when your cat has passed out at 2 in the afternoon, their body is just doing exactly what nature told it to do. It is not depression. It is just their natural battery-saving mode. But when they do wake up, they have a very specific job to do. 5. The window patrol is serious serious work. Sometime in the afternoon, your cat will likely wake up, stretch, and jump up to their favorite window. You might think they're just watching the cars or spacing out because there is nothing else to do, but in their mind, they are officially on the clock. My experience has shown me that cats take their environment very seriously. When the main protector of the house leaves, which is you, the cat feels a deep responsibility to take over the watch. They are actively patrolling the territory. They watch the street, track the movement of the shadows, and monitor any strange animals outside. They are guarding the colony in your absence. And this intense loyalty is actually proven by science. A famous study from Oregon State University looked into how cats bond with humans. They discovered that 65% of cats have a secure attachment style with their owners. That is the exact same percentage found in human infants with their parents. Your cat does not just see you as a food provider. They see you as their actual family. And when family is gone, they step up to protect the home until you return safely. But keeping the house safe can take a huge mental toll on them, which leads to some of the most misunderstood and frustrating things they do while you are away. 6. The mysterious food strike. Have you ever walked through the door after a long day at work to find your cat's food bowl exactly how you left it? Most owners assume their cat just was not hungry, or maybe they did not like the brand of food. But then, the second you sit down in the living room, the cat suddenly runs over and starts eating perfectly fine. This is not them being picky. It is a massive sign of how much they rely on you for safety. In the animal world, eating is one of the most vulnerable things you can do. You have to lower your head, close your eyes to chew, and stop watching your surroundings. For a cat left alone in an empty house, lowering their head to eat feels incredibly risky. They do not have their trusted lookout to watch their back. You are their security guard. When you are gone, they would rather skip a meal than risk being caught off guard. So when they finally eat, the moment you sit down, it is because their protector has returned. They finally feel safe enough to close their eyes. 7. The tragic miscommunication of the bed. This is probably the most frustrating thing a cat can do, and it breaks many owners' hearts. Sometimes, you come home to find your cat has peed right in the middle of your bed. Human nature instantly makes us think the cat is angry. We assume they are punishing us out of spite for leaving them alone, but nothing could be further from the truth. Cats do not understand the concept of revenge. What is actually happening is a heartbreaking case of clinical separation anxiety. When a cat is pushed to the absolute limit of stress from being alone, they panic. They desperately need to surround themselves with the strongest, most comforting smell in the entire house to feel safe again, and that is your bed. By mixing their own scent with your deeply embedded scent on the sheets, they are trying to calm themselves down. It is a desperate cry for comfort, not an act of anger. They are just trying to build a scent wall to hide behind until you come back. 8. The invisible feline pacifier. Another hidden sign of a cat struggling with your absence happens completely in silence. If you notice your cat constantly licking their fur, sometimes even leaving small bald spots on their belly or legs, it is usually not a simple skin issue. Vets call this psychogenic grooming, but in simple terms, it is a feline pacifier. Just like a nervous human might bite their nails when they are stressed, a cat will lick themselves. The physical act of grooming actually releases tiny chemicals in their brain called endorphins. These chemicals naturally soothe their nervous system and make them feel a little bit better. When the house is empty and their anxiety starts to rise, they use this grooming as a tool to calm down. They are bravely trying to handle their own stress while they wait for the front door to finally open. And speaking of that door, they know exactly when it is going to open, long before you even pull into the driveway. 9. The doorway, vigil, and their internal clock. How does your cat know you are coming home before you even open the door? If you have a pet camera, you have probably seen them get up from their nap and walk to the front door exactly 30 minutes before you usually arrive. My experience observing these amazing animals has shown me that they do not need a watch to know the time. They rely on their powerful internal body clock, known as their circadian rhythm. They memorize the exact angle of the sunlight hitting the living room floor. They learn the specific sounds of the neighborhood shifting from afternoon quiet to evening traffic. By combining these environmental clues with their own biology, they predict your exact arrival time. They sit at the door not because they are randomly waiting, but because they are perfectly synchronized to your daily life. They have aligned their entire existence with yours. 10. The welcome home sulk. So, you finally walk through the door, excited to see them. But instead of running up to you, your cat just looks at you from the couch, maybe blinks slowly, and stays completely still. For many owners, this feels like rejection. We instantly assume they are angry at us for leaving. But what is actually happening is a deep biological evaluation. When you open that door, you are bringing a massive rush of new energy, outside smells, and loud noises into their carefully guarded quiet zone. Your cat is simply processing this sudden shift in the environment. They are taking a moment to evaluate the safety of the new situation before engaging. It is not an insult or a sulk. It is just their natural caution, making sure the alpha has returned safely without bringing any invisible threats into the colony. Once they process the energy, their true feelings start to show in the most beautiful way. 11. The beautiful shadowing effect. After you settle in, take off your shoes, and start moving around the house, you will notice something incredible. Your cat starts following you from the kitchen to the bedroom and back to the living room. They might not be rubbing against your legs or asking to be pet. They are just quietly sitting in the corner of whatever room you are in. This is called the shadowing effect. By following you, they are actively re-establishing the physical perimeter of the colony bond. They spent the entire day protecting the house alone, and now that you are back, they are confirming that the team is together again. They want to keep you in their direct line of sight to make sure you do not disappear. It is their quiet, unspoken way of saying they missed you and they are glad you are finally home. And if you understand this, you will never look at your cat the same way again. Subscribe to our channel so that all our videos will be available for your pet's life and care. Comment below about your own personal opinion for your pets, and you can even share your problems with us.